Догоняю! Миша!
Kyle was 5. He was a very outgoing child. He was loving and caring, and he was friends with everybody.
Just had this, I think, picturesque view of the world that, you know, was a beautiful, wonderful place, and he was happy to be a part of it.
Emma was a little quieter than Kyle.
She was actually the brave one.
She was. She loved roller coasters, and she was up for anything. She would try anything. Katie, she was our baby. She was 2.
She was out there and independent, and
she was a mommy's girl.
Kyle, Katie, and Emma Coble. These are the 3 children who would not get a chance to grow up and experience another bike ride, birthday, or Christmas. Instead, parents Chris and Lori come to this Lake Forest cemetery every week to share a few quiet moments at their gravesite.
You hope they're in a place together where they're, you know, happy and pain-free and
they could be our angels.
The accident happened on this stretch of Interstate 5 on May 4th, a day after Kyle's 5th birthday. Lori and her mom had taken the kids to a nearby mall to ride the Ferris wheel. Then it was time to go home. They were waiting to get off at the Oso Parkway exit. It's a drive that Lori had made countless times.
They were behind me, and I could see him when I looked in the rearview mirror, and I know Kyle was playing his Nintendo that he got for his birthday, and Emma was watching a movie, and I could see Katie sleeping again, and so I was grabbing her toes and telling her to wake up because she had to take a nap when she got home. And that was the last thing I remember.
A big rig hauling more than 40,000 pounds of electronics rear-ended the family's minivan. The driver couldn't stop in time because investigators say he was driving too fast. Later, the Cobles would learn that the driver of the tractor-trailer had a history of speeding. In the chaos that followed the crash, the family was split and taken to 3 different hospitals. Chris was still at work, only to get a phone call that there was an emergency. Then the devastating details started to unfold.
The doctor was there and he said, "I'm sorry to let you know that Katie has expired." And you know, you can't describe the feeling that hits you, and I'm kind of feeling that weight hit me right now as I'm talking about it.
It was followed with another heartbreaking phone call.
The first thing I said to him was, "Please don't tell me Emma's dead." And he said, "I'm sorry, but Emma has expired."
At the hospital, I woke up to Chris, and I said, "Where are the kids?" And he said, "The girls are dead." And I remember him telling me that Kyle was brain surgery, and I told him to go be with him.
Chris rushed to Mission Hospital, where Kyle and Katie were both taken. First, he stopped to see Katie's body, and what would be the last time he would see his little girl.
I got to sit with her by myself, hold her hand and brush her hair. She was cold.
Oh, Chris, what did you say to her? Can you share that?
I said I was sorry. And she was a good girl. Mostly held her hand and just wanted to be with her for a little bit.
Then he went to see Kyle. The 5-year-old was hit so hard in the crash, his brainstem had separated. He was kept alive artificially until that night, when Lori could be rushed to the same hospital.
I remember when I believe they first wheeled me in, I looked over at Kyle and his eyes were open. And I remember looking around and my sister-in-law was in the room and my brother, and just thinking, he's okay, his eyes are open, he's fine. And then starting to realize what was going on around me.
So although Lori said she doesn't remember this part, after we were there with him for a period of time, Lori said, you know, he needs to be with his sisters. So we asked that they stop resuscitation, and so they shut all the equipment off. It kind of became dark and silent, and we sat with him and held his hand.
Now, 6 months after the tragedy, the Cobles are celebrating a new chapter in their lives. In a time when their faith is tested to a degree only a few can know, Chris and Lori have just learned they're expecting triplets, 2 girls and a boy.
I think it's a miracle. I think Kyle and Katie had something to do with it. I think they helped us and they made this possible.
But they say it's bittersweet. Life is full of reminders of Kyle, Emma, and Katie. Their bedrooms are still intact, untouched. There's a newly planted olive tree with a trunk representing each young life lost too soon. And just a few steps away, a neighborhood park bench serves as a reminder of the strength and support from family and friends. And of course, there are the weekly visits to the cemetery.
You definitely have those days, you know, where the grief or the anguish just kind of overtakes you some days. And there may be no rhyme or reason why any particular day is that day.
They only hope those days are outnumbered by the days of thinking about Kyle, Katie, and Emma, happy together, perhaps laughing, smiling, and watching from above.
Hi, my name is Mike with Tire Chains R Us. Today, we're going to show you how to install a standard service or a general service tire chain on this semi-tire. The first thing you should do is lay your chain out beside the tire. You're looking for unexpected wear or damage, and also to make sure that the links aren't twisted. The next step is to lay this up over the tire, and a couple things to remember. The hooks should always be pointing outward and upward, and your cams and your cam tighteners should always be on the outside of the tire. The other goal when you set the chain up here is to make sure that this outside chain link rests somewhere in the middle of the sidewall. So after inspecting the chain, grab it somewhat in the center, lay it up over that first tire. The idea is to make sure this chain lands somewhere in the middle of the sidewall of the tire. So again, you're looking for twists, making sure that it lays naturally and fits on the tire square. And then with this excess chain in the front, tuck it into the tire as close as you can so that when you move the vehicle forward, it's that much closer to the chain in the back, so you're ready to link up. So I like to bunch it up in the front, and now we're ready to roll the truck forward. Okay, we've moved the truck forward so the chain is rolled up a little higher on the tire, and the excess chain now lays below the tire, which is exactly what you want. Again, the first thing you're going to do is start with this side chain hook, and you're going to get the inside fastened first. So the key is to try to keep all of your cross chains in parallel so that you know you've got a good square set. And you want to get this side chain hook as tight as you can, but obviously if it fights you too hard, just take the lesser hook. What I like to do is get to the chain where you think you're going to hook, and then pull the excess links back and lock them behind your fingers so it's out of the way. And then simply hook that chain. Bring the cross chains around, and now grab the side chain fastener. There again, you want to hook this as tight as you can to begin with. That'll make your tightening process easier down the way. Start with the length you think you're going to get. Lock the excess length behind your hand. Feed it through the side chain fastener, and then bring the locking clip over. I always like to double check for fitment, make sure we're still on the sidewall. The next step of the installation process is to use your cam tool and your cam tighteners. So, as an FYI, many chains are sold to fit a variety of sizes of tires. So this chain in particular has 4 cam locks. And the rule of thumb is you'd like to use them all, but you don't have to. So each situation is going to be different. The end goal is to get the chain to fit right. So if that means tightening 2 or 3 or all 4, that's what it means. I'll show you how to do that here, and then we'll see how many we have to tighten on this tire. This is your cam tightener tool. It inserts into this, and you always turn to the right, or clockwise. I like to work around the tire, tightening as you go, and you can notice there's significant slack here. But by the time all of our cam tighteners are adjusted, we should take care of that. Now that we've tightened all 4, you can tell the chain's tight and it fits well. For added insurance, I like to use a chain adjuster, which keeps tension on this, and in case something happens where a cam would break, then you've got a backup plan. The other thing that's important is once it's installed at this stage, is to roll the truck forward 10, 12, 15 feet and just check it again for fitment. After that, it's good to stop at an 1/8 or 1/4 of a mile and check it one more time. The other thing to keep in mind, with chains installed, top speeds are 30 or 35 miles an hour. So with chains comes an added responsibility to slow the truck down and make sure it handles properly.